But in the meantime, here's what I'm going to ask of you, because I need you to think about your situation now as much or more than you do about what happened in Noah's day. Every week from this point forward, for as long as we're all here, I'd like you to have this godly attitude that appreciates you're living in special days, the last days. Now, maybe it'll be like Noah. We've been put on notice, and the flood is still 120 years away. Maybe the end that we're all anticipating is still a long way off. Doesn't change your mission. You know, Noah couldn't wait until the last 10 years to start building the ark. He needed all 120 years. And whether we live out to the end of this age or whether we're simply here for a while before the end comes, either way, we're participating in the work of a mission that needs to be done every day between now and when the end comes. And let me suggest to you that remembering your mission and staying focused on your mission comes down to remembering 5 simple things. 5 things that we've learned together so far in the Olivet Discourse. First, we know that judgment is fast approaching because you can see the signs that Jesus told us to watch for. Friends, it's incontrovertible. The signs are there. We know what they mean. We know we're near the end. Secondly, we know God has planned a rescue for us because Scripture says we will not experience the coming judgment, just as Noah and his family did not experience the flood. Thirdly, we know that as we await our rescue, the world around us is going to become increasingly evil. And as a result, we should not take stock in that. Don't lose heart over that. Don't wring your hands over it. It's going to happen. You heard it here first from the Bible. The world's going to get worse. It's okay. That's part of God's plan. Fourthly, we know we are to focus our attention on the mission of preparing for the next world, not trying to preserve this one. And then lastly, we know that we serve God in a mission that He gave us, and we do this in the midst of the last days. And that should give us a greater urgency and, for that matter, a greater excitement about what it is we're here to do. So rather than being depressed or angry or discouraged by the days you live in, let that fill you with purpose and, to a degree, joy. Because you move your eyes off the world and onto Jesus and onto the people that He wants to rescue through the plan of the gospel. And as you do that, you start to realize, I'm not on a ship that's going down. I'm helping people into life rafts. I'm doing work that is intended to make the best of this moment. I'm not going to get caught up in the middle of it. You know, I would tell you today that the church is witnessing perhaps the single greatest opportunity that any of us have seen in our lifetimes to do the mission of the gospel. I mean, you'd have to go back 100 years or more to find circumstances as dire as the ones we're dealing with now. A period of history when the very foundations of our society are crumbling, when evil appears to have the upper hand, where everybody is scared, normal life has completely changed, nothing seems stable. I mean, if you can't see God's handwriting on these circumstances, you're not looking. And therefore, this is the time when the church has perhaps its best opportunity to fulfill its mission. And friends, you cannot do that sitting on a couch playing Xbox or watching Netflix or surfing the web. Look, the web will surf itself. You don't need to worry about it, okay? We need to be about our Father's business. We need to be building the ark and stuffing it with as many passengers as we can. And by building the ark, of course, I mean preaching the gospel, sharing the truth, being a witness in these dark times. That is the way you establish optimism and hope in your heart while looking at a world that's falling apart around you. This is the time you show confidence and peace and hope and joy when the world is filled with sorrow and distress and worry and sadness. I mean, this is what will draw people to the message of the gospel and to you personally. They will do as Peter says. They'll ask for a defense for the hope that lies within you because they'll wonder, how are you facing this world in such an optimistic attitude? And why aren't you ranting on Facebook? And why aren't you lobbying your congressman for this or for that? I mean, you can do those things if you want. They're not sinful. That's fine. But don't make your life about that, because that's not your mission. Fixing this world, solving this world is not our mission. Rescuing people out of this world, that's our mission. And I can't think of a better time in history for us to accomplish it. Let's do it together. Even as we're apart, let's work on this together. Pray with me.